How long is this gonna go on?
How long is this gonna go on? Remember, kids, I said in part 1 this is gonna be a multiple-parter. I also said this is the worst video game I have ever played. That's a big statement. I don't plan on making it a habit of this YouTube channel to review games I really fucking hate. You know, I'm not an angry video game nerd. I'm not an angry reviewer. I'd rather do retrospectives on things I like WrestleGamia and Mega Man games and stuff like that, but I gotta unwind. I gotta explain why this thing is so terrible. This is therapy for me. I can't spend 20 minutes talking about why it's terrible. I gotta spend an eternity explaining myself. So if you think the review's gone on too long, I'm warning you right now. Get a pot of cherry whiskey, cause I'm not done yet. I'm not done, and if you complain that the review's too long, well, that's your fucking problem. Oh, that fucking cherry whiskey's so good!
Silver the Hedgehog. He's the new character they introduced for this 15th anniversary Abomination. He's also one of the main trio, meaning you're going to be playing as this guy for a third of the whole entire game. And unlike Sonic and Shadow, Silver does not homing attack into enemies in order to kill them. No, his gimmick is that he's from the future and he has psychic abilities. He uses his mind to pick up objects and hurl them at his opponents. Silver's entire concept is pretty out there. Why does he have these powers? Radiation poisoning? That's the only answer I can come up with since the game didn't bother to explain Silver's powers. Then again, they don't explain Blaze's ability to shoot fire out of her vagina, so whatever. He just has powers. And I must say, the cutscenes of this game really make Silver out to be a very overpowered foe for Sonic to face with. He can fly infinitely and go into light speed whenever he needs to. He can hold characters in place and there's nothing they can do about it. When faced with a row of robots, Silver can just knock all of them away with his psychic push. And hell, in a future game, he can even create a Katamari ball of death to roll down the highway. He must be so fun to play, right? It must be so fun to play with such a force of nature and make all of the enemies feel like mosquitoes, right? Right? Oh, god damn it. You couldn't just throw me a bone, could you? You couldn't give me a character that was just pure destruction and game-breaking fun, could you? Fine. Silver cannot attack enemies by himself. He can't jump into them, slide into them, or force push them off of cliffs or anything. The only time you can kill anyone is by throwing all kinds of boxes or objects at them, or by stunning them with a psychic pimp slap to make them all electric and grabbable to fling wherever you want. Later, when you visit the shops in the game, you can buy a ground pound attack which stuns things in your small general area, and it helps when you're surrounded, I guess. But again, there's no simple, really fast way to kill anybody in this game. You're always scrounging for boxes, you're always getting way too damn close to the enemies to stun them, and it's so agonizingly slow. Even slower than Shadow's combat-oriented playthrough. Because, like Shadow, Silver has to spend so much of his game just killing room after room after room of enemies. Going through waves of enemies with this extremely slow psychic combat system is the worst thing. You use the right trigger to pick up objects next to you, and with each one you grab, it drains the psychic meter in the bottom right corner. You also use this psychic meter to glide in a straight path for a small period of time as well. The more reckless players will cost themselves a whole bunch of lives after throwing some items at enemies because they'll immediately jump over the big bottomless pit to glide to the next platform, but because they have no energy left, they will die. This makes the platforming far slower because you're always stopping to wait and recharge your energy. And despite him going at light speed and flying infinitely in cutscenes, he can't do that in the game. He walks so damn slow. I've already gone on about slowness and why it sucks for Sonic, but Silver's one of the main trio! The fact he runs slow is mind-boggling to me. When you're holding objects, you have to face enemies and press the X button in order to fire an object at them. The bigger enemies with big health bars will not be killed with one item swing, so you'll have to pick up multiple objects to throw at them. Sometimes when you're carrying so many objects, they'll actually bounce off of each other and fly in the wrong direction. Even when you have only one item, the lock-on aiming isn't the best thing in the world, as it sometimes completely misses the enemy you're trying to hit. One thing about Silver that's kind of fun is that you can pull your inner Neo from the Matrix and actually catch missiles that robots shoot at you with your psychic field, and then you can actually send it back at them after doing so. The problem is, I swear, sometimes these missiles go right past your psychic field, and it's not because I'm running out of energy or anything, they just happen to slip through. And especially with one certain boss fight that shoots a shitload of missiles at you, there's no way you can possibly catch them all, so you actually have to still dodge while catching them at the same time. If you want to stun enemies, going right up to them with your Pimp Slap is a little too close to my tastes. Despite having psychic powers, his Pimp Slap can't stun enemies from a long distance, so you might accidentally walk into enemies trying to perform this attack. The ground pound might help later, but I must ask, why the hell do you have to stun them? Why can't we just pick them up as they are? It would be so much faster and more satisfying to walk up to one of Eggman's gunner robots, just pick it up, and fling it wherever the fuck you want. I mean, the bigger enemies, I understand stunning them, but I can't just pick up an Iblis lizard without stunning it? Boo! And fuck the people who say that being able to pick up robots without stunning them would be too easy. Firstly, it wouldn't. Secondly, what, you don't want to have fun? Sometimes there's joy to be had with being a cheating bastard.
Night starts with a sunny day. Let's feel our ocean breath. We are cruising overseas. Can't wait for a new adventure. La 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 la.
I'm gonna mention a game I find rather enjoyable. A game with a protagonist who also manipulates objects with telekinesis, and I think would be a good template for any future appearances Sonic Team would ever try to give Silver. Because his gameplay isn't doomed from the start. It could have been fun, especially if it were more like Star Wars The Force Unleashed. Psychic powers, the Force, whatever, it's the same thing. You play a Sith warrior named Starkiller, and in the game you can pick up objects with the right trigger button and actually manipulate where they go with the left and right thumbsticks. Silver cannot manipulate objects at all. He picks them up, they hover in front of him until he sends it somewhere. Starkiller can literally send it left and right, up and down. Hell, you can spin objects in circles if you want. And oh yes, Starkiller can pick up enemies. I can pick up stormtroopers and literally throw them at other stormtroopers. And that doesn't ruin the challenge because the enemies I'm not picking up are still attacking me. So it's not too easy. It's fun. Starkiller can do force pushes to knock over things in his way. A projectile attack would be so damn useful for Silver, since I don't care for constantly running around looking for boxes. Doesn't he shoot a green energy ball at Sonic twice? Why can't I do that? Also, Starkiller runs faster than Silver, and he uses his lightsaber as a melee weapon when you need to wait for your force energy to recharge. I don't see why Silver can't be fast and have the ability to homing attack or jump into enemies. Yes, he uses his mind to kill things, but why can he not just jump into them normally too? Silver would have been far more satisfying to play as a powerhouse character. Someone you tell your friends about and go, yeah, Sonic's fast, Shadow's cool, but Silver? Holy shit, his gameplay was awesome! Games are supposed to be fun. Silver isn't fun. He has a fun nugget of an idea, but he never reaches that potential. And again, his gameplay is nothing but killing room after room of enemies. His platforming isn't a big focus, and it's not what you'll remember about playing him. Sorry, Silver. Your gameplay just wasn't satisfying. It's tedious and slow and nowhere near as empowering as it should be. Well, we got 3 side characters left. Amy Rose returns once again, and remember when I said back in part 2 that a lot of people didn't like playing as her in Sonic Adventure? It got worse. Amy Rose was always slow, and she always used her hammer to attack enemies, but it was never as slow and as stiff as it is here. I'll never understand why they made her hammer small so that it doesn't have any reach. You have to be really damn close to enemies just to hit them, and her attacks are delayed as well. Don't stop in time, you run into an enemy and take a hit. and every attack you miss is that extra 2 seconds you're giving surrounding enemies a chance to hurt you. And her hit detection isn't all that great either. Holy shit. Hit him! Hit him! Hit the fucking thing! Jesus! What the hell was that? Amy cannot attack in the air either, so you have to attack when on the ground. Not sure why, she could before. They gave Amy a double jump, but after performing that second jump, her momentum gets screwed, and you better have been close to the platform you were going to, otherwise, Amy will stiffly drop into the bottomless pit below. So the first jump has good reach, second one, you go high into the sky and fall 2 inches ahead. Right, that was a bad idea. Also, she can turn invisible. No, really, you'll hold the attack button, and she becomes invisible for a short period of time, allowing you to attack enemies without being detected. It's really useless. All it does is drag the game out even longer. So yeah, nothing to say about Amy. She doesn't even have that fun hammer vault thing she used to do before. Sonic Team seems to believe that she should be an unplayable character with no redeeming fun to be had. So she is. And it was development time well wasted once again. I mean, fuck, why did they bother? Seriously. E123 Omega. Well, he's that bulky robot from Sonic Heroes. That bulky robot whose top speed is actually faster than Sonic. I'm serious. Omega is actually faster than Sonic. 'Cause that makes sense! Anywho, Omega isn't really that annoying in terms of gameplay styles. He can hover around by pushing the jump button again in the air, much like Gamma and Dr. Eggman's Egg Walker in the previous games. The funny thing about Omega is that you can repeatedly push the A button to actually stop his descent and keep him in the air much longer. He can reach really ridiculous distances, and many users have found ways to glitch him to areas he isn't supposed to go to. I personally haven't, because I really don't look for glitches or game-breaking things. When Rouge gets stuck on a wall, you can bet your ass I wasn't looking for that. Anywho, Omega's combat is all projectile attacks. You charge up the cannon with the attack button, and you release it to shoot lasers at enemies. I find it pretty uneasy to work, so instead, when I play Omega, I just jump and mash the X button over and over again. Not only does that keep Omega in the air, but it really does a decent job locking onto enemies and killing them slightly faster. Fighting Mephiles? Jump and mash buttons. Fighting Iblis monsters? Jump and mash buttons. It's all I do with Omega. I wish he had his clothesline attack from Sonic Heroes, but it probably won't kill the bigger guys in one hit, so whatever. His gameplay is relatively harmless. And finally we reach the last playable character, Blaze. A lot of people disagree with me and say that she's the best character to play in the game. She plays like Sonic and Shadow, you know, she runs at decent speed, she homing attacks, and she has a really nice double jump attack too. It's certainly better than Amy Rose's double jump because this one actually keeps momentum. As for everything else, I don't know. Something about her just rubs me the wrong way. Her homing attack is a little too wild for my tastes. Because double jump requires the jump button, they made her homing attack the X button, and when you're standing on the ground, you can actually do a homing attack from the ground. Anywho, it acts like a drill, and it stays in the sky much longer, and I feel it can be pretty imprecise in landing where you want to go. That's just what I found. I can't really prove that, I can't really say anything other than, it's my opinion, unlike a lot of the shit I say about this game, but I just never found Blaze that enjoyable. She can also use the X button to create a fire tornado attack so she can barrel through enemies. In theory. Fact is, if it runs out at the wrong time, you're just taking a hit, so I really don't like using it all that much. She's okay, but like Omega, she's not one of the main trio, so you really won't be playing her for that long. If she is better than Sonic, well, big deal. You're gonna play her like maybe 3 times in the whole game. So yay! But finally, we're done with all the characters. Bottom line, their control doesn't work, and none of them are super fun to play. And even the characters who might have been fun, they can't salvage anything out of some of these terrible levels. So there are a total of 10 levels in the game, and in each storyline, you're going to be playing each level, no matter how nonsensical or pointless to the story it is. Unlike Sonic Adventure, which gave certain stories only like 3 or 4 levels, because they knew it wouldn't make sense for Big the Cat to fish in Speed Highway. No, let's let Silver fuck around in Dusty Desert. Because Amy senses that Sonic is there. Spoilers, he isn't. At least when Sonic Heroes did it, it was under the guise that each team was a different difficulty. People still hated it there, but whatever. Well, time to tell you my issues with each and every level in this game across all 3 storylines. Wave Ocean. To be honest, this is the first level, and I made my issues with the Mach speed part, the kinda sudden wall jumping part, and the odd design of adding stone loop-de-loops in the water when they really didn't need to be there. The only new thing I have to say is that Shadow Story really has an annoying part where they drop you in a giant open beach area. There is a gate that you need to open in order to leave. They never show you this gate. There is a switch to open the gate in a horseshoe-shaped cave. They never tell you the switch is in that cave. A thing you need to keep in mind is that this big open area also has a dock with a ramp that will boost you to giant hills, and you never need to go there at all. You assume maybe it'll lead somewhere you need to go, but no, it's just pointless to go there unless you're killing enemies for the S rank or whatever. When you flip the switch in the cave, again, it doesn't signify what the switch did, so you don't know what you accomplished by flipping it. You're running around aimlessly, not understanding where to go. It's bad level design. Open fields don't lend themselves to Sonic, not unless you got like a radar or blips telling you where to go. It's just bad. Dusty Desert. To be fair to this level, it was great for Sonic since it's the only level with one loading screen, no Mach speed sections, and no real dickish parts. I mean, it wasn't super fun or anything, but it's one of the only harmless levels in the game. For Sonic, anyway. For Shadow and Silver, you spend most of the time there in the inside caverns, and the level goes on far too long. Lots of killing enemies in the enclosed rooms, lots of non-platforming. I say non-platforming because for some reason this level is filled with lots of platforms that extend in and then extend out. And yet, they come out of another platform. There's no timing required for these jumps because you can just jump on the edge anyway. Silver, by far, has the worst of all of this though. In the beginning, they make you push all of these giant white balls into the holes like it's some kind of billiards game. Each ball has a number on the side that counts down every time Silver pushes one of them with his pimp slap. When the balls aren't exploding because they all run into each other, they're exploding because you push the ball one too many times. Oh, and the number counts down even when you're not pushing it. Great! Now, the first part isn't really that big of a deal. The last part most certainly is. This is the ball puzzle. People know about the ball puzzle because it's quite infamous. Here's the scenario. They want you to push one ball down a hallway that turns left at one point and has lots of holes in the area. You need to push it into the final hole where the door leading to the exit is. If it falls into any other hole, it respawns at the start and you have to do it all over again. Unlike a pool or billiards game where maybe they'll give you a purple line to show you where the ball will bounce and end up, they expect you to do it through Silver's Pimp Slap. No indicator of how it'll fly off your Pimp Slap, and because it works on the Havoc's physics engine, most people will have a different experience playing this. The majority had this experience. What idiot thought this was a good idea? Really? We're balancing so much with this game already, and you didn't even try to make the ball puzzle really simplistic or fun? Good God, what a terrible idea! I've heard horror stories of some people being stuck on this puzzle for over an hour. Over an hour! Are you fucking real? The Pimp Slap is not a good method for directing this ball. If you're standing too left to the ball, too right to the ball, or maybe too far from the ball, or too close to the ball, you never know how the hell this thing is going to react. It'll bounce and roll wherever the hell it wants, and there's no reliable way to just navigate this thing wherever you want. And even if you take really slow pushes and try to be super careful with it, the timer will hit 0 and the ball will just explode. So you have to make giant leaps of faith or you'll never get the ball into the hole. People always assume that when I say Sonic 06 is a terrible game, I'm just talking about glitches. What the fuck is glitchy about this? What's glitchy about Amy Rose's terrible double jump? What's glitchy about a stupid open area in Wave Ocean? This game was designed badly. It's not just bad coding or a lack of playtesting fixes, it's general terrible ideas that sunk this ship. I really don't understand how they could approve all of these terrible decisions. I know I keep saying this, and I'm gonna say it again, but what were they thinking? Good Lord! White ACROPOLIS. I already mentioned that the first opening area has no business being used to snowboard around. It's not a long, stretchy hill with tons of jumps. It's too many hard turns and trees getting in your way. Even if the snowboard had Sonic Adventure physics, it would be really awkward to play around in this level. Also, fun thing, you can actually glitch behind the avalanche when it chases you. And if you're playing as Blaze, it's possible to get stuck and you'll have to retry the level in order to progress any further. Not a big problem, mind you, but it can happen. I don't understand this level's fascination with searchlights and making us destroy them. In Silver's campaign, we destroy them to bring down laser gates so we can progress. And in Shadow's storyline, we have to use the missiles from his buggy to shoot down or run over all of the searchlight towers at the end of the area. Otherwise, the goal ring doesn't show up. By the way, that almost scared me into thinking Shadow's storyline was going to be a destroy everything in the level scenario. Thank God it wasn't. But either way, this isn't Metal Gear Solid. The robots know I'm there. Who cares if the searchlights are still up? It's nonsensical. What, Eggman wouldn't hear all the gunfire and giant explosions? Oh yeah, real stealthy there, Shadow. He'll never know you're there. Crisis City. It has a Mach Speed section. It has a Shadow hang gliding section, though despite my jokes earlier, this one actually requires controller input because you don't win by doing nothing. What a compliment. As for everything else, I don't like how many leaps of faith they want you to do by homing attacking enemies over bottomless pits. It sounds silly, but the homing attack is really wonky. If you have no more enemies to hit, trying to land on some of the narrow ledges isn't easy. Running high speeds on small ledges and missing springs and falling to your doom is easy to do. And I swear there are invisible walls where there shouldn't be.
No! I love Shadow's end quote, by the way. It is so fucking appropriate for this game. You're screaming along with him.
I swear I was pushing forward there and something blocked me. I wasn't at a wall. What was that? Flame core. God, I hate this level. This level seems to think that running alongside the wall is something you should do constantly, and if you fail to do so, you're falling into the lava. What's my natural instinct after hitting a dash pad and turning completely sideways? To hold up on the controller. If I let go, I will fall and die. If I go down, I'll fall and die. Well, guess what? If I hold up too much, I might hit the ceiling and fall to my doom. Guess what? Maybe an Iblis worm will pop right up and I'll run into him and fall into my doom. Or guess what? Maybe I'll just fall for no reason whatsoever. I don't get this. Admittedly, I've fallen and screwed up quite a bit in Speed Highway's wall running in Sonic Adventure. It wasn't a perfected art that always works. Why is there so much of this? You fall in lava, your rings just disappear into it, and you'll never get them back. If you somehow reach a platform before your invulnerability disappears, you still gotta reattempt the wall running again. And without rings, fail again and you're done. Something unreliable should never dictate whether I make it through a level. Ball puzzle included. How about those rooms where they just take away the lights? Why do they do this? We're in a volcano and apparently some parts of this dark, rocky structure are incredibly well lit. But others? Nah, not so much. Oh, do the bright areas have some open windows into the outside that I don't know about? It's nighttime, who gives a fuck? More importantly, who wants to bumble around in the dark? This isn't fucking Silent Hill, I'm playing a goddamn platformer! They pretend that when you hit the purple rocks, they'll light up and you'll be able to see what you're doing. No, you don't! The minute you step in any direction away from those purple rocks, it goes dark again! Well, what good was that? I have a friend who can't even walk around at night because she can't see anything. God knows she wouldn't be able to play this level. Way to consider people with bad eyesight! It's so dumb. Between the annoying fire circles, which just turn on and start flaming, and the stupid Iblis worms, who are really fucking annoying to notice, you get surprise attacked way too much. Why does the Iblis worm have to make this small brown dust cloud that's really hard to see in dark or brown areas? Why don't you just make him roar or, not be underground? It's really annoying when you don't finish killing an Iblis worm and then he just fucks off and goes underground for a bit, and you have to wait for him to pop up. No, you have to wait for him, because this volcano operates on kill all the enemies or the door won't open mentality. Like volcanoes in the real world, right? And finally, what the hell is with the falling molten rocks? Yeah, I get it. The volcano is erupting. We don't need chunks of magma to just surprise us and hit us. That should be a background thing, not a real hazard that no goddamn good player could possibly react to in time. I can't see the shadows of the magma rocks on the black rocky ground, and even if I could, you expect me to dodge him with Shadow, who skates around really slowly? Why? Why? Why did they bother? This isn't a glitch! It's just a terrible idea! Glitches are not the main problem with this game. I need you all to know that. I need you to start spreading that as gospel to anyone you know. It's not glitches that ruin this game. It is terribly designed. Oh yeah, those magma rocks were a great idea. Fuck this stupid game. Radical Train.
Whoa!
In this level, all three characters platform through the exact same scenario. In fact, they platform at the exact same time, because in the following cutscene, they all run into each other. Yeah, and I know Silver has to use boxes to actually affect the weights, and Sonic and Shadow are doing two different things to the train they have to chase, but it's really the same level no matter who you're playing as. A lot of conveyor belts that change direction on you, and you can't be slow. You have to be fast in this level if you're Sonic or Shadow, or the train will do what it does. Shadow's motorcycle area is lame at the beginning, and Sonic has a Mach Speed section here. Yes, a Mach Speed section is an automatic fail for any level. They suck. Radical Train goes by fairly quickly, and it doesn't have any real thrills at all. It's just another level I don't want to play again. Tropical Jungle. Well, it had that one good part I mentioned before in Part 1. Hey look, a thrilling and special moment. Again, I just like the playful fun of Sonic and Elise having a wild adventure, and Sonic scaring her into thinking maybe they might hit the ground. It's charming! This game has no charm whatsoever, so it really stands out, among all others. Wave Ocean had the whale smashing up the docks, but that was a reused moment from Sonic Adventure. And any thrills you get from the Mach Speed sections are overshadowed by the bullshit. This game is joyless. Anywho, Tropical Jungle has a lot of swinging on vines, and you have to notice when the purple flower at the bottom of these vines glow. Because when they glow, that's when you're expected to jump. Jump at the wrong time, and you will plummet to your death. A lot of timing required here. For Sonic, this level isn't so bad. No Mach Speed sections, and only 2 load times for this level, and... fuck you, game! Fuck you! Even when you give me a fairly okay level, you put me through this shit! I hate you! I hate this fucking game! I hate everything about you! Ah!
Well, see, I was just checking our inboxes, and we got floods of emails of fans wanting Sonic 06 now. They want the game right now. So many emails. We have a problem, sir.
The fans want it now? Oh man, that has never happened in the history of anything. If the fans want it now, well, we gotta stop production. We can't bother to fix the glitches. Let's get it out right now.
Gotcha! We'll release the game right away! We won't fix the glitches, we'll release it right away because that's what the fans want! Man, I wish those fans weren't so demanding! Oh, sucks to be us!